Welcome back to Introduction to Computer Science at SSFS. In the next series of videos, we're going to look at decisions. As you start to write more complicated programs in Python, you're going to need to make decisions based on things like user input or the results of a function. And if the results come back one way, you'll do one thing, and if they come back another way, you'll do something different. And before we get into the mechanics of exactly how you do that, let's take a few minutes to talk about a new data type. I'm going to go into PyCharm and I'm going to open the Python console so we can just do some quick demonstrations. And do you remember when we first talked about data types like integers and floats and strings, we used the type function, and if we did type 7, we got that it was an int. Well, again, we're going to talk about what's called a Boolean data type, and Boolean values are either true or false. So if I wanted to do is 6 greater than 5, that comes back as true. And if I use my type function on true, it says it is of class bool, so it is a Boolean data type. Bool is just short for Boolean. And again, Boolean values are either true or false. So I can tell if something's greater than something else. I can also tell if something's less than something else. Is 7 less than 2? That is false. So things can either be true or false. You can also see if something is greater than or equal to. So is 5 greater than or equal to 4? Yes, it is. Is 5 greater than or equal to 10? That's false. You can see if something is less than or equal to. So is 8 less than or equal to 8? And that is true. It's also possible to test if something is equal to each other. So I can say, is 4 equal to 4? And I get an error, because remember that the equal sign is used to assign a variable. So if I wanted to assign a variable, I'd say x is assigned the value of 4. So how do I test if two things are equal? Well, if you're testing if something's equal, you have to use two equal signs together. And now it says it's true. And I can test is 6 equal to 10, and it says it's false. So when you're wanting to test if two values are equal, use two equal signs. If you're assigning the value of something to a variable, you use one equal sign. It's also possible to tell if something is not equal to something else. And to see if it's not equal, you use exclamation point equal. So let's do 6 not equal to 10. And again, see the exclamation point equal means not equal. And that's true because 6 is not equal to 10. So now that we've seen the different types of comparison operators, greater than, less than, and so on, how do we use those in a program? I'm going to create a very quick main function. And I'm going to use what's called an if statement. Using if is how you make decisions in Python. So the structure of an if statement is if, you have to use the keyword if, and then a comparison. So 6 is greater than 2. And then again, like functions, you have to end them with a colon. Notice that after I hit enter, it's indented. So I'm going to print, yep, 6 is bigger than 2. And then I'm going to end my main function with main, so that when my program runs, it calls main and this function will run. So the way the if statement works is it evaluates your comparison here. If it's true, it does whatever is indented. If not, it skips on to the next statement. So in this case, 6 is greater than 2, it should print this. So let's go ahead and run this to test it. And it says, yep, 6 is bigger than 2. Well, what happens if I'll change the 2 to an 8? We know that 6 is not greater than 8, so this is going to be false, so this should not print. And again, let's go ahead and run that to test it. And nothing prints out. Just so you can see what happens, if I do another print statement, Thanks for watching. Since this statement is not indented, it should get printed each time. So let's do it this way first. Notice this gets skipped and prints this, but I've put this to something like 3. 6 is bigger than 3. Both statements are printed. In the next video, we'll talk about how to create an alternate choice if the first one is false.